What is up, YouTube? Don't forget to save, aka Sam, back with the Saturday video. As promised, today we are talking about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors, and holy hell, guys, this movie kicks ass. It's probably one of my favorite movies in general out of the 80s. I'll just put it that way. But anyway, if you guys like my reviews, please drop a like, leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts, subscribe if you haven't. With all that said, guys, you know how we do it around here. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Release date February 27th of 1987. Finally, we got one, not in November, guys. We finally got one in February. So, returning to the series, well, first of all, it was directed by Chuck Russell. And Chuck Russell, I heard he was a hard guy to work with, but the results of his movies speak for themselves. I think that, Chuck Russell proved with this movie that the more you push your actors, the better they'll act, and it'll come through across on the screen. And I think that's what a lot of problems in newer movies, Halloween Ends, I'm looking at you, fall short. So anyway, with all that said, yeah, Chuck Russell's an awesome guy. He went on to direct all kinds of good stuff. Go check him out. And it was produced again by Bob Shaye. With that said, one more fun fact here. Wes Craven did come back for the script. He wrote part of it, and a couple other people jumped in and finished writing it, and it turned into what it was. Not everything that Wes put in there made it to the final cut. So, with all that said, Heather Langenkamp coming back as Nancy Thompson. Patricia Arquette, her debut acting role as Kristen Parker. I heard that Patricia had, it was really tough for her to, get her lines down. And, looking at it, what she's done since, she's come a long way. So, anyway, it's fun to look back at these, younger versions of these people, back before they were famous. Speaking of which, Lawrence Fishburne plays it's kind of like the custodial guy at Weston Hills, Max Daniels. John Saxon comes back as Donald Thompson. This is John Saxon's final time as Donald Thompson, but not his final time in the series, as we will find out as we move forward. Craig Wasson, I believe is how you pronounce it, is Dr. Neil Gordon. And of course, that's the love interest of Nancy Thompson, by the way. And of course, we have Robert Englund coming back as Freddy. And for my money, guys, like, this is like the peak epitome of the character of Freddy, and we'll get into that here. Also, we had cameos in this. If any of you guys out there that it might be about my age or a little bit older might remember Dick Cavett, the Dick Cavett Show, and Zsa Zsa Gabor was actually had a cameo. So in part 3 we started getting cameos from people and stuff like that. Now it's a big deal, right? So anyway, of course, this part 3 is the first mention of Weston Hills as, a hospital, and of the drug Hypnosil, which is the dream suppressant that they all take. So those are interesting. And, going to the plot, we'll just jump right into the plot here. Heather Langenkamp comes back. She's like she went to college, and, apparently she didn't die in part 1 because Wes Craven didn't want her to die. That's the explanation as I understand it. If anybody has a better one, please leave it in the comment section down below. I've heard a lot of different theories. But anyway, and you got, like I said, Dr. Neil Gordon. He's the main doctor. And you got all these kids, at Weston Hills that they're the last of the Elm Street. Yeah, the last kids of the Elm Street parents who burned Freddy Krueger up, which is, in the first 3 movies, that's kind of Freddy's motivation. I don't really get his motivation going on other than he just likes to be evil. But this is the last ties to the Elm Street children. Oh, this in the beginning of part 4. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. My point is so they're all in Weston Hills. Nancy comes in, is like a dream therapist kind of person. And basically, it brings in the dream powers. Now, like, they've never done this in any of the movies previously, but everybody has their special powers in their dreams. They can do certain things they can't do in real life. And so that's kind of an interesting, it broadens the possibilities, I guess, with the movie. And I really like that part about it. And basically, it all boils down to, they make a final stand against Freddy. with Heather, Nancy Thompson leading the way, and Dr. Neil Gordon and Nancy's dad go, and basically it's the part three was the Christian version of Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, you had part two with the gay version. Well, this is the Christian version. So you got the holy water and the cross, and you got to bury his bones in holy ground or whatever, you know. And so that's kind of the thing going on there, which is a really good, you know. We also meet Freddy's mom in this one as well. She's the nun around Weston Hills, and it's kind of an interesting kind of gives some backstory on Freddy. Gives a little bit, but not too much. So yeah, that's kind of like I said. There's a couple little highlights here I'd like to point out. "Welcome to Primetime, Bitch" was an improv line. It was brilliant, and I'll show it in a different video. I got my Freddy book signed, and that was my favorite quote. So I had him sign it. "Welcome to Primetime, Bitch," because that's my favorite quote. Maybe out of any 80s movie. This isn't just a horror thing. This is one of my favorite movies of the 80s. Like, this is, you know, this drug me down the rabbit hole of horror even further than I already am. So, one more thing here. The Dawkins soundtrack. I actually have a copy of on cassette. Somebody brought in, this was years ago, somebody brought in a giant box of cassette tapes, and I found this in there, and I remembered Dokken from the Nightmare on Elm Street, and this is Back for the Attack. This has got Dream Warriors. The music video, that was the first music video ever for a movie officially that got an official release, I believe. Correct me if that's wrong, but I have heard that mentioned before. And one more thing I want to mention, other than the awesome Dokken soundtrack. If you guys, you know, anybody's watched the movie, probably knows who Dokken is. But the ending with, you know, the Kristen Parker character holding Nancy Thompson, and it was just a heartbreaking ending. I feel that's the best ending to any movie in the series. Fight me, bro. No, not really. But I do really feel strongly about that. But anyway, so the point is, my favorite movie of the series, my favorite movie of the 80s, it does everything a sequel should and could do. It gives a little bit of backstory, doesn't give away too much. You know, it's brilliant by Robert. You know, the plot makes sense. It's an all-around solid movie. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments section down below. I've rambled on long enough. I could talk about this stuff all damn day long. I try to cut it off and have a cutoff point. And, you know, if I miss anything, just leave it in the comments section down below. With all that said, guys, until next video, love your hobby, and we'll love you back. Peace.